Oh yeah, so I just want to explain what I've been on about with this PM code thing. It's not anything really new or amazing in itself, because it's just all it's doing is just translating a number from a year, if it can be seen in a PM format. And every year will then have one, if it can be seen as a PM. It's all to do with obviously just, yeah, the 1200 system that we go past in a time. Everything then, if it's military, it gets added to that. It doesn't just go back to like 0 again and start to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. So that's what I'm really sort of going on about. So for example, the year 1200 or the year 1200. That's pretty much when it starts, because that's when you can then start to look at any year from then in a time aspect as an afternoon time, PM. So yeah, it's not anything amazing. It's just it's already there in terms of the number. So that bit itself is not. What is kind of interesting though is in the way that obviously it only goes up to a certain year that you can do it from. So you can do it up to the year 1259 or 1250, the year 1259. But from the year 1260, it's not going to work again. 1261, it's not going to work because that doesn't look like a time, does it? 1261. You've gone to 1 minute past into the new hour. Hence why there is that 40-year gap in terms of if you're looking at it in the year. That's sort of shown kind of there a little bit. Which is very interesting, isn't it? Because that's possibly where that 40 winks phrase has come from. I don't know. When people say that they're going for 40 winks, that's to do with like taking a rest, isn't it? 40 from 60, of course. Sorry, from the 100. 100 being the hour. So I hope it kind of, yeah, it's not overly complicated or confusing. It's not anything that I've come up with either. It's just there, isn't it? What is interesting though is just the way that it works in terms of course, and that's just showing you the calculation. Because there is a calculation, you just take whatever year then after the year 1200. Oops, sorry. So let's just take the year 1543 because you can translate that to 3:43 p.m. The equation is you double the year and then take 1200 from it, which is your 12 p.m. midday, halfway through your day. So it's an interesting equation because you're doing the duality, you're doubling whatever the year is that you want to look at that looks like a time. So duality there, the double. Then you take away where time splits into two in the middle of a day, and that gets you the PM code date for that particular year of 1543. That PM code date then becomes for that year, 1886, because that would be 343 years after the year 1543. That's what that is in PM, of course. Again, all obvious stuff. I hope so. Because of the way we're doing the calculation, it's obvious why that happens, yeah? Hopefully you can see that why that is obvious. So this is the key thing, why I'm making a point of making a video. I wouldn't do a video of just some obvious math. That's no revelation, is it? The key thing is, why I'm doing it now is, well, what I showed on the last video. Because of the way that it's working for the King James version of the Bible published 1611. It had to be published at some point, and that was the year it was published. You know, don't blame me for the math. That the fact that with the PM code of, if you want to use my version of it, doubling the year itself, because 1611 can look like 4:11 PM. Double that minus your midday for the halfway through gets you 2022. Or simply 2022 minus the 411 PM version of the year that it came out gets you the year it came out. You can also obviously see why. It's because the duality of 411 is 822, of course. So all you got to do is translate that into a PM time to get what I'm on about. (8:22 PM) is our year now. So yeah, every year has one, unless it doesn't, kind of thing. If you're born in 1980, you've not got a PM code, for example, because 1980 military wouldn't be 7:80 PM. You know what I mean? If you're born in 1945, you do have a PM code. That's 7:45 PM. If the King James version of the Bible had been published in 1945, we'd have to wait until the year 2690 until the PM code kicked in for it, which would obviously be 745 years later, which is 7:45 PM for that bit. But hey, whether this is lucky for us or not, I don't know. The fact that it was published in 1611 PM in the year 1611. This tells us how long you have to wait for that PM code to kick in. You wait 411 years for it to kick in. So obviously that's what it looks like. And that's what it looks like.